Hey Sharpcoat Photo Challengers, welcome to spring and the Sharpcoat Photo Challenge number 9, Signs of Spring. I can't tell you how excited I am. I freaking love this weather, and that's why you also hear some outdoor noise because I've got the window open. I just came in from a photo walk outside, which also allowed me to take some shots for the challenge that you'll see in a second. But you may hear some noise here, but I love it. I love it. One of the downsides is I'm also downtown, so you may hear a siren or two, but hopefully that won't interfere with the recording. Anyways, I'm so jazzed to see some of the shots that some of these shots that you guys took for traffic. It's a give and take. Sometimes you get spring noises, sometimes you get some urban noises. Anyways, I'm so jazzed to see the shots that you guys submitted. I'm so happy that you guys got a chance to get out there and shoot, especially for people in my local area, in us Southern Ontarians who, the day after I put this challenge out, Mother Nature must be watching, must be one of my fans, must be visiting the blog pretty recently, because not 24 hours after I put this challenge out to shoot Signs of Spring did we get another freak snowfall. So of course I saw it coming in the weather predictions, but I didn't really believe it. But there we go. So that made the challenge even more challenging. But thankfully the weather also cleared up towards the end of the week, and also it's a weekend. It's Easter weekend. You got some free time in your hands, hopefully, to get the camera out, get outside. I love going for photo walks. That's why I'm so looking forward to this weather and first to get some of the challenges going that get people outside. So with no further ado, let's jump right into the first shots. First, if you're interested in trying to get more people over in on the challenge, you can send them over to sharpgoat.com, where they can click on blog and get all the information of the challenge, what the most recent challenge is, and they can also look at the previous critique. So you can check out last week's critique, the Get Smartphone Challenge, which was full of awesome and was a big challenge for you guys. Good on you for that. And you can click on the challenge for, the challenges to get the details for what the most current challenge is. New challenges come out every Monday, and the video critiques come out every Tuesday. So with no more further ado, let's jump into the first submissions from Ingrid Clark. Thank you very much for coming back for week 2. She jumped on the smartphone challenge, and now she's using her DSLR to get some shots and submit them. So let's see what she got for spring. Almost there. Yep. Actually, did she have any... I think she did have some notes. Let's see here. Okay, because she's just getting used to using manual, so she was asking me a couple questions about how to shoot manual, and so, for instance, how to select your f-stop appropriately and get the proper exposure, and how different f-stop can affect your image. She's shooting with a Nikon D3200 with the stock lens, the 1855, and I can't remember all of her remarks. I don't think she had very much else to say except that she's learning. So. Okay, so almost there. This is a good one. I like it. Nice composition, good choice of color, yellow against the green, and you got nice, you're shooting at what must be f8. Even at f8, you're getting some nice blurry background, and at f8, it's not like it's not at so much of a shallow depth of field that you're losing complete information in the back. You still know that it's a plant back there. Otherwise, if you opened up your f-stop all the way, Ingrid, if you adjust your f-stop, that's your f-stop down here, you're shooting at f8. If you adjust that to a smaller number, you get a shallower depth of field, and thus in this shot, say the flower bud would be in focus, the background would be even blurrier. So if you choose a higher f-stop, so say f22 to go to the extreme, then more of the image would be in focus. So not only the flower bud here, the yellow flower bud, but also the green plant behind it. So that's how you select the appropriate f-stop depending on how much you want to isolate the subject that you're shooting for and create a nice blurry background for them. So at this point, f8, it looks like you missed focus on the flower bud, or at least where must it have been? It looks like maybe it was on the edge here, but not really on the front right here. So you got to watch where you're selecting focus. And another thing, I can see down here what autofocus mode you might be using. It says not defined. I'm not sure what that means. your camera has square points. So when you're looking through the viewfinder, you see points all over the place. Those are called autofocus points, and you can, depending on your mode, you can activate one of those points to be the point that the camera will focus on. So most people just keep the one that's dead center, the square point that's dead center, so that it'll focus on whatever that area is covering. And occasionally, sometimes though, the camera's factory settings, or some people prefer to do this, you can activate all the points. So all of the points will light up when you select all of them, and your whole image will be judged. Your camera will look at the entire image, and it will guess what you're trying to focus on. I do not suggest using that mode, because then you're leaving some of the decision making up to the camera, and the camera then gets to decide or figure out what you're trying to focus on, rather than you just telling it focus on this specific point here. So it can be frustrating when using all of your autofocus points. So try not to use that. Try to just activate one point. Keep it on the center one just to start. I usually just keep it to that anyways. So that may help with the focusing issue, but otherwise, good job there. Spring waterfall. Love it. Beautiful. I love the shots of springtime. Let's see. Okay, shot at f5.6, ISO 640. Good. So keeping that ISO low enough. 640 is a good number. Anything north of if you're going up to 2000, it'll be nice and grainy. But since we're outdoors, you can drive that ISO actually all the way down if you like. All the way down. If it's bright and sunny outside, keep that as low as possible. If you want to, drop it down to 200, and because you don't need to bump the ISO up. The ISO is what gives you what will digitally boost the light in your image. It adjusts the sensitivity of your sensor. So a higher number, the more sensitive it is. However, the higher number, the more grainy and noisy your image will be. So try not to. Sorry, I was just distracted by the number popping up on my screen. So try to keep that as low as possible. Since we're shooting outdoors in the sun, you can bring that all the way down to 200, and you can also then up your shutter speed to balance out. So down goes your shutter, down goes your ISO, and that will darken the image. But then you can. I'm going completely backwards here. Bringing your ISO down will bring the exposure down for your entire image. But then again, you are outside. You have a lot of light available, so you could actually, in bright shots, speed that shutter up. So at 1/60. You're not freezing the water in its place here, which again, if you're trying to go for blurry water, great. If you want to try and freeze the water, then you want to bump that shutter speed. So your shutter speed is that number that appears as a fraction. So 1/60 or 1/100 or 1/200. The faster the shutter speed, so a fast shutter speed would say 1/200 is faster than 1/60. So if you shot at like 1/200, you would freeze that water in its place. Faster shutter speed requires more light though. So you'll notice as you speed your shutter speed up, the exposure, your image will go darker. So then you have to kind of compensate. But again, we're out in bright light, so that's okay. Anyways, that's just a quick overview of if you look back on some of the challenges, you can see that we specifically look at shutter, exposure, and ISO and see how adjusting one affects the overall image. But this is a cool looking shot here. Love this pond. Love the composition here. The water going into the water. The waterfall rushing into the water. Cool. Love it. Footprint in the mud. Cool. I dig it. And also I like how you're looking in different areas. You're looking down, you see the waterfall, you see the flower, you see the footprint in the mud. Cool. And this also gives me the idea that maybe you perhaps went on to do a photo walk outside. Awesome. Go for a hike, bring that camera with you, and just constantly look around and see what is there to take a shot of, because there's things all around. That's really mushy of me to say that, but regardless. So okay, you're gonna take a shot of a footprint in the mud here. Very cool. Some things that might help. Where did the numbers go? I'm going to try and refresh this, because it didn't give me any stats for that shot. Why not? There we go. So f5.6, cool. 1/125. Okay, there you go. See, ISO is all the way down to 200. Good. 1/125. Yep, nice fast shutter. Cool. This one, because also where the sun is, it's a little bit difficult to see, because this almost looks like it. You need to judge where the sun is. You need the light to be coming across it, kind of. So at high noon, the sun's coming straight down, and you won't see any of the emboss. You won't see any of the depth to it, so it'll disappear. However, if the sun was later in the day coming straight across it, then you would see more of that depth. So maybe that's just a timing of the day to wait until the sun is just right. But then again, who wants to stick around your footprint until magic hour to take a shot of that? But I like that you're looking all over the place. If I had to pick a favorite of these three, this one. It's a good subject. Sorry, the waterfall. It's just not clicking on it right now because it's going very slow. Spring waterfall. My dad is a big fan of ponds. He likes to build ponds all the time in his backyard. We spent a lot of time one summer building a double-decker, a pond in our backyard with a waterfall, and put fish in it that the ducks eventually came by and ate, or birds rather. Not quite sure if ducks eat fish. I suppose they do. I don't know. But yeah, I love the fountain. I think it's a good shot, good subject, nice focus. Good. Awesome. Thank you very much for contributing this week, Ingrid. I really love how you're getting out there with your DSLR with the Nikon, and we will be shooting more. We'll get you comfortably into manual. If you have any questions while you're shooting, send them on over. I would love to answer them. I know that we've got to sit down soon and have a photo date soon to go over your camera a little bit more. But thank you for contributing, and we'll see you next time.